Well, hello everybody. Swamp Fox News, Cooks, and Reviews coming at you with my 7 p.m. newscast news blast. It's 7 p.m. somewhere. I thank everybody for joining tonight. I got some really good videos and some good stories. News now, South Florida. Hey, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you. It's been a while. Thank you for coming. I had to work. I got called into a service call, so I had to go do that. But I got some really good shows tonight. So if for the people who join, I got some good videos too. Again, there's going to be some people getting killed. So if you don't want to see that, you might want to turn your head or turn it down when it gets to the videos. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get started on this video, on the first video. This first story is by Carlos Miller. Carlos Miller, y'all. I'm going to let y'all watch the video, but I'll give you a little bit of backstory on it. The family which recorded the raid has filed a lawsuit. In the latest example of state-sanctioned terrorism, and a throng of cops broke into a home of a family in Utah without a warrant, tasering a 57-year-old man out of spite and malice for not welcoming them into his home when they showed up with riot shields, battering rams, and a litany of lies as to why they should be let in. The cops were from Utah Division of Adult Probation and Parole and were looking for the man's son, Jose Yance, who had not lived at the house for at least a year. And the cops seemed to have known that because the address listed on their warrant was different from his parents' address, which is why they deliberately left the warrant behind when they conducted the raid, according to the lawsuit filed last week by the ACLU on behalf of the family. The incident took place in August 2018 and began when Munir Yance, the father, would not let them into the home without a warrant. One cop kept showing Yance a document claiming to be a warrant, but the lawsuit states it was probably just the front page of their son's internal files. The cops did not give up, threatening, bullying, and intimidating him until they finally made their way inside the house, where tasered the father, shoved the mother to the ground with a shield, and handcuffed the kids to keep them from recording. Y'all watch the video and tell me what you think. Cops bring the hate. Get on the ground, guys. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. On the ground. On the ground. Come here, sir. Listen to me. Hands down to that. I'm 17. Press takes on that guy, boy. So, calm down. Si abren la puerta, su protección y no ha hecho nada para... Fírmalo,
Señor, ábreme puerta.
No te la va a abrir.
Eres un fugitivo de este estado. Somos
Y si abres la puerta te vas a meter en problemas conmigo.
Tienes 30 segundos para correr. Abre la puerta, señor.
We don't want dile que vengan de volada. Dile que vengan de volada.
No queremos hacer
No, yo no quiero hablar con nadie. Busquen a donde estén.
It's awful, the police state that we live in, the tyranny that we go through. These people had no warrant. They broke in this man's house. They tasered him. They pushed the woman to the floor, handcuffed the kids. It's totally ridiculous. And every one of them still has their jobs. You can make no mistake. This is, I can show. I'm gonna be bringing y'all stories like this every night for the rest of my life. It's never gonna end because the tyranny, until somehow we can stop the tyranny of the Blue Line Gang, Blue ISIS police, it ain't never gonna change. It ain't never gonna change. Oklahoma officer charged with selling his department issued guns to a pawn shop. So they hire these idiots who then goes out, and this is by Keith Palmer, y'all, who then takes his guns, or our guns, the taxpayers' guns, and goes pawns them at the pawn shop. Oklahoma officer charged with selling his department issued guns to a pawn shop. At least he was charged, but let's see what happens. This cop is accused of pawning his own department's guns for some extra cash. The Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigations arrested Boswell Police Department officer Sean Carr, 33, after he allegedly pawned his department-issued firearms. Carr was arrested on January 6 at Boswell City Hall in Oklahoma. The investigation began last month, police say. They acted after receiving information from Choctaw County Sheriff about the alleged crimes. The Choctaw County Sheriff's requested the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation investigated assistance after receiving information that Carr pawned 4 of his department's guns. Carr faces 1 count of felony embezzlement. Carr was booked in the Choctaw County Jail, where his bond was set at $10,000. Dang, why has he got 4 guns? One ain't enough? Shoot, make no mistake, they want to kill you. So anyway, he was booked in on $10,000. I'm gonna keep an eye on the story, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully, he'll do like 30 years in prison. We all know that ain't gonna happen. Oh man, this is another sad story. Phoenix police shoot boy after ATF mistook him for robbery suspect. I mean, you get shot for mistaken identity. This is a damn shame, man. These idiots. The case of mistaken identity left a black teenager in the hospital after he was shot with the baton rounds by police. Deon Humphrey, 19, was shot in Phoenix on January 17th after police and ATF agents misidentified the teen as a suspect in an armed robbery and attempted murder. Humphrey now has swelling around his heart and remains at Phoenix Children's Hospital. Man, that is such a shame. The real suspect, who the ATF and Phoenix Police Department were looking for, was K.L. Thornton. Thornton is Humphrey's half-brother. The Phoenix News-Time reports Humphrey was walking home from dropping his sister off at school when he heard what sounded like gunshots from a white vehicle, and initially he took off running. The white vehicle was an unmarked car from the Phoenix Police Department, firing a stun grenade as they thought Humphrey was a suspect in an armed robbery and an attempted murder case. Humphrey was then blocked off by a second unmarked vehicle, was hit in the chest with baton rounds, and then tackled to the ground. Police say Humphrey was wearing a beanie at the time when he mistook him for Thornton. It was the ATF agent who told officers that Humphrey was the robbery and attempted murder suspect, and that's what officers moved in. When officers moved in, Humphrey wasn't given proper medical attention for his injuries. Instead, he was interviewed by police for 7 hours, never taken to the hospital. After the long interview, police drove Humphrey home. He was then taken to the hospital by his family. Wow. A spokesperson for the Phoenix Police Department indicated that the baton rounds were used on Humphrey because they thought he was trying to get away, potentially creating a greater danger with a school nearby. But as it turned out, Humphrey was another innocent black man shot by police. Once again, these idiot thugs who all they want to do is hurt you. I promise you, you can see it every day here. You're going to see it every day that these are terrorist thugs that care nothing about the Constitution. They laugh at it. They wipe their behind with it. They spit on it and walk on it. You can make no mistake, they don't care. They can care less about you. This poor innocent young black man is in the hospital because of these tyrants. It's a shame. All right. Now this is going to blow your mind. It blows my mind. Another story by Carlos Miller. Ex-cop receiving $57,000 a year due to stress from trial from shooting a man in the back. Now, she shot the man in the back and then got sued over it. And from the stress of the trial, she sued her department somehow and won. I guess we'll read it. And it's getting $57,000 a year from taxpayers for a crime she committed, for something she did. Carlos Miller, y'all. Blows my mind. I'll let y'all watch the video.
Backwards, have you used that stuff?
Yes, it would have been considered a de-escalation of my force to go from knee strikes down to the use of my taser.
Is it ever in your head is okay, Kramer, we gotta grab, as you're kneeling down here like this, and crouches, I gotta cross draw and grab.
Joe
that
Public,
taser
Kim.
because I just want compliance.
How y'all doing?
No, it didn't. We're trained
Thank y'all
in
for being
DAT
here.
that you don't ever de-escalate your force until you are in 100% control. It's not even 75% control. You never de-escalate until you are in 100% control.
Did it enter your
Oregon
mind
Road.
the use of the baton?
Oh.
It's something more than a knee strike on that levels of force, is it not?
It is a force option, but I discounted using my baton based again on my level of exhaustion. I didn't have the energy to now draw my baton, expand it, and then begin striking him.
So what's the only other thing available to you if you can't use a baton and you can't go backwards? What's the only other thing you can do?
Deadly force.
Okay, and did you choose to do that?
I chose deadly force.
It was that in your mind is I'm going to do this.
I would describe it as autopilot based on my training.
Okay, and tell me, when is it, and your understanding is, when is it that you can pull out a firearm in a struggle with a human being and fire a gun, a fire gun into a human being? What is your understanding is when you can do that?
When you believe that your life, the exact definition is any behavior which has caused or imminently threatens to cause death or great bodily harm to you or other persons, to myself.
Did you believe at that time that in fact there was an imminent threat of death or great bodily harm?
Absolutely.
And tell me why. I mean, this jury wants to know, why do you believe that?
Again, as I was mentioning earlier, it's the totality of the circumstances. At the point in time that Mr. Burnley began to raise himself up with the left arm clutching his waistband, I perceived that to be a motive to access a weapon, which absolutely posed the threat of death, at the very minimum, great bodily harm. And I realized that the threat needed to be stopped immediately, that this could not continue for another second longer.
It's amazing. Oh my Lord, it's amazing to me. The excuses these people use. And now, so she's going to get $57,000 a year for murdering somebody. And then using the excuse that, well, this is my training. They made me do it. Former Brown Deer police officer Devin Kramer is expected to receive payment for life. That was terrible. Thanks to a hung jury and a forgiving prosecutor for former Wisconsin police officer escaped a prison sentence and is now collecting $57,000 a year in disability due to the stress she suffered while on trial for shooting an unarmed man in the back. Now, she said he was drawing in his waistband and facing her, so how did she shoot him in the back? That's just like the guy that shot the kid in the back of the head. It was a sweet deal for the 30-year-old former Brown Deer police officer who expects to receive the tax-funded, tax-free payment for the rest of her life. It's more than she had made as a police officer. She didn't even make that much as a cop. All she had to do was claim she was unable to work due to the debilitating stress she suffered from having been charged with a felony aggravated battery, even though her trial ended in a mistrial and the prosecutor chose not to retry the case, essentially giving her a free pass for shooting an unarmed man in the back. Wow. Meanwhile, the man she shot, Manuel L. Burnley Jr., who spent 12 days in the hospital after the shooting, also says he is unable to work due to having a bullet lodged in his back as well as losing part of his lung. But the civil trial is not scheduled until next year. So it will be a while before he sees any potential payout. Wow, that is amazing. That is something else. I feel so bad for these people, man. Oh, Lord. Here's some good news, though. At least. And again, it's only good news, but we have to see what ends up happening to the guy. Again, we have to follow the story and see if something actually does happen to this guy. Oh, Lord. Highest paid Baltimore cop facing decades in prisons for crimes caught on camera. Again, this is by Carlos Miller. Baltimore Police Sergeant Ethan Newberg established a pattern and practice of harassment and intimidation. For years, Baltimore Police Sergeant Ethan Newberg racked up overtime hours by destroying innocent lives. A thug of a cop who made up laws as he went along, punishing citizens who dared question his tactics or record his arrest. He was the highest paid officer on the force when he ran after a man who had criticized him for making another man sit on the west sidewalk last May. Lee Dotson was walking away when the Newberg sprinted up to him and grabbed him, prompting Dotson to pull away from him. Another cop tackled Dotson to make the unlawful arrest. Newberg then shoved Dotson's face into the street while the other cop drove his knee into his back. Take your charge like a man, Newberg reported. When Dotson demanded to know what crime he had committed, now it's time for Newberg to take his charge like a man. 32 counts to be exact. Charges ranging from assault, false arrest, and official misconduct. Enough to send him to prison for more than 100 years. Yeah, we'll see what happens to him. Where he would join about a dozen other Baltimore cops who have been sentenced to prison in recent years. A street gang evolving into a prison gang. That's exactly what they are. And there's his buddies right there. And look at all of them. Thugs. Newberg, 49, was indicted after investigations reviewed 12 months of footage from his own body camera. What a dummy. He did. I guess he wasn't one of the ones smart enough to erase it, and determined he had established a pattern and practice of harassment, intimidation. Many of those crimes were committed while making the taxpayer overtime, making $260,000 in the year of 2019. Dang! $260,000 for a piece of crap cop that violates people's rights. Woo, we all in the wrong line of business, y'all. Dang. Of course, I can never violate somebody's rights, so I can never be in that line of business. Oh, Lord have mercy. Cop who shot fleeing teen in the back from 200 foot away is cleared of wrongdoing, if you can believe that. Another story by Carlos Miller. Y'all may remember I brought y'all this story when it first happened, but he hadn't been charged with anything, and you know the case wasn't over. It had just happened, but now here's the ending of it. It's an airsoft gun that had an orange tip on the end, so he knew it was a toy. He lied and said he felt like it was in imminent danger. The kid was running and was 200 foot away. Shot him in the back and killed him. Stop it, crackhead. Settle down.
Hey. 2 ball 6 1.
Nevaeh.
You ever see your eyes?
Eric Johnson. Thank y'all for being here.
998 shot fired. Shot fired. One subject running southbound through the alley.
Airsoft replica gun with an
He's
orange
got
tip.
a handgun. He's got a handgun.
Just goes to show you that the cops and the judges and the prosecutors cover for each other,
2
because
ball 6 1.
he was not in danger. The kid was running from him, and he lied and said that he felt like he was in immediate danger, so he felt like he had to shoot him.
Shot fired. Shot fired.
Now,
2 ball 6 1.
the prosecutor
One more
wouldn't
subject in the alleyway.
prosecute him, but
Arms up. Let me see your hands.
his own
Let
department
me see
said
your
he did wrong.
hands. I will shoot you again. Therefore, I'm not shot. It's subject. It looks like he's not breathing anymore. Let's stay off the air. We're gonna put this guy 42. Let's have no units coming north on Fair. Fair southbound is downrange.
Okay?
Yeah.
Now you just go. Let us take this. Put the gun down. Okay? He's down.
I'm good. No shot. No holes, man. I'm sure.
Alright, positive.
Positive.
Alright, good.
Yeah, because it's a toy gun. Of course you didn't get shot.
It's just kid. It's a toy gun, man. Oh. It's a toy gun. Let's see my car. Oh, I got it. What happened? Toy gun.
Yeah, because y'all are taught to shoot and kill. I mean, that's just all it is to it. And he's sitting there acting like he's crying, like it bothered him. Oh, it's a toy gun. Well, you shouldn't have shot the guy in the back. And no, you was lying by saying you was in immediate danger. He was running to begin with. So even if it was a real gun, you was not in immediate danger. And they cleared this piece of crap. Now, but honestly, like I said, his own police force said he did wrong. Again, this story is by Carlos Miller. Tampa police officer Joseph Wan was allowed to resign and is now collecting disability retirement benefits. That was the next thing I was going to say. Just like the last cop who said, "Oh, because I shot this person, I get $57,000 a year," and this cop is getting the same kind of benefit. An Arizona police officer who shot a fleeing teenager in the back from 200 feet away, killing him, was cleared of wrongdoing last month after convincing prosecutors he believed his life was in immediate danger. But not only was the teen running away from Tempe police officer Joseph Jane, the gun he was holding was a replica airsoft pistol with an orange tip. Not even Jane's own supervisors was as forgiving, writing in an investigative report that he engaged in poor decision making, poor tactics, and failed to adhere to his training when he shot and killed the 14-year-old boy in the back in January 2019. Nevertheless, Jane was allowed to resign and is now collecting disability retirement payment for the rest of his life. The teen, Antonia Archer, had been burglarizing a truck when Jane pulled up in his patrol car. After spotting Jane, the teen ran off. Jane ordered his hands up as he ran away before firing. RC's family filed a wrongful death lawsuit, last month. The attorney for the family also accused Tempe police of trying to get them to enter into a non-disclosure agreement to keep everything private. Of course, they don't want you knowing of their wrongdoing. Idiots. All right, this is another man that gets killed. Another story by Carlos Miller, y'all. Graphic images follow.
Show me your fucking hands! Show me your hands! Turn off the fucking car!
Show me your hands. Turn off the car. I can't turn off the car without moving my hand, you jackass.
Get your hands up! Keep your hands up! Hands up! I don't see any weapons. I'm gonna move back to you guys. Keep your hands up! Yep. Keep your hands up! Do not move your hands! Sheriff 148, we're at the dead end of Sutton and Hilton Street. Show me your hands now! Show me your fucking hands! Keep your hands up!
It's all around the world joke, public. They're all evil. The biggest gang in the world, the Blue Line ISIS.
Don't do it!
Don't move. Don't do it. One hand, unlock it. Put your hands back up. With one hand, unlock it.
This is why people hate cops. This is totally uncalled for. And they end up killing the man.
Get this arm, I can go that side.
Just smashed his head against the damn metal of the window. Choking him right now. Tasering him at the same time. They haven't even tried to open the door. They're trying to snatch a grown-ass man through the window.
Sure, 142, 40 twice.
He's choking him to death right now.
Break that window. Stop moving. We're fighting him, trying to get him out of the car.
You liar.
Sheriff 148, start medical.
Yeah, they definitely put you in prison for that. You ain't got no rights anymore. None of us do. Wayne Rogers, thanks for being here. UK Brummy,
Definitely.
being
Now go that
here.
way and I'll follow you.
appreciate y'all showing up. I
Yeah,
know it's
Taser's
late,
come up.
but thank you for showing up. I know I hate them, man. Oh, I don't hate nobody, but I hate the way they are. It's disgusting. And the bad thing is we're forced by theft to pay for them to treat us like this. I mean, that's what it infuriates me so bad that we have to have our money stolen
Me too.
to fund these blue ISIS terrorists that go around and criminalize and terrorize the people who pay their paychecks constantly.
No, we need medical, man. Get medical. Yeah, hold on 1 second. Hey, wake up. Wake up.
To wake up, you killed him. Dead people don't wake up, buddy. Well,
I know he's breathing.
if they're Christians, they do one day, but not right here on earth. Murderers.
Got a knife. Got a knife. Oh shit. Jesus fucking Christ. No, it's locked. Oh, okay.
They ain't even trying to help him. Evil ass people, man. Satanists. That's exactly what they are. Deputies thought the car was stolen, but it was being driven by its rightful owner. A horrific act of police abuse was caught on body cam, showing an enraged California sheriff's deputy slamming a man's head against his own car while trying to pull him through the driver's side window as the man's foot remained lodged in the steering wheel. Man, this has upset me. Sonoma County Sheriff's Deputy Charles Blunt then placed the driver David Glenn Ward into a chokehold for 30 seconds while Deputy Jason Little tasered him. Ward stopped breathing and was pronounced dead at the local hospital. Deputies were angry that Ward had bitten their fingers as they kept yanking him out of the windows despite him moaning in pain after his leg was stuck in the steering wheel. Police say a few days earlier, Ward reported his car stolen after telling police he had been carjacked, but he somehow got it back, which was why he was driving when deputies tried to pull him over. The incident took place November 27th at around 5:40 a.m. and resulted in Blunt's termination. Now that he will stop receiving a paycheck, not that he will start receiving his paycheck anytime, according to ABC News. The way Deputy Blunt handles the entire situation is extremely troubling, Essex said in the video. As a result, I have served duty Blunt a notice of termination. He has been on administrative leave since the incident occurred and will remain on leave until the conclusion of the investigation. All potential appeals have taken place. Again, he kills somebody. They get to go on a vacation while we pay for it. And then we pay for their lawyers too. So the whole time he's not out of pocket anything. He's going to walk over murdering this man. Harry Stem, Blunt's attorney, defended the deputy's action and slammed what he called the sheriff's hasty response as a product of political expedience. Stern also emphasized that the deputy was still employed despite the notice of termination because the probe had not yet concluded. Deputy Blunt has not been fired yet, the lawyer said. If and when that happens, we will absolutely appeal. The incident occurred on November 27th. Shortly after Ward reported his car stolen, the Santa Rosa Police Department had seen his vehicle travel past and contacted the sheriff's office to help recover it. That is such a shame. I mean, it is just unbelievably a shame. The incident, what our deputies did not know at the time was that Mr. Ward was not only the owner of the car, but the victim of the earlier carjacking. Essex said in the video, the suspect had pistol whipped him and stolen his car. Mr. Ward had recovered the car but failed to report it. It remains a mystery as to why he fled from the deputies. He didn't flee. They're liars. Anyway, I mean, these stories just break your heart, man. It's just like, Lord have mercy. But I gotta bring them to you. I just really, I already showed you that one. I gotta bring them to you. Yeah, at least this cop is facing decades in prison for the crimes he committed. So, anyway. That being said, guys and gals, that is the end of the stories for tonight. I will bring y'all some more stories tomorrow night. And now, unless I get a service call, I'll be on time with my 7 p.m. newscast news blast. So I hope y'all can make it then, where it's a little bit earlier and I'm not keeping y'all up so late. I appreciate it if everybody will smash that like button. That really mean a lot. Mama Gnome, how you doing, darling? Eric Johnson, thank you for being here. Nevaeh, DJS Dad, let's make you a mod. I appreciate you being here. Thank you for showing up. We are legally obligated and not to mention bound by duty to sue tyrants in the face. Nobody does. That's where, yeah, you're absolutely right. The tyrants are. I mean, it's unbelievable what we go through. The man was never able to inform the police because he had just recovered his. Yeah, exactly, Nevaeh, you're exactly right. Eric Johnson. Mama Gnome, Joe Public, UK Brahmi, Nevaeh, Oregon Road, Mama Gnome. Just want to make sure, White Wayne Rogers. Make sure I go back. Friends Code, how you doing? Eric Johnson, Joe Public. Trying to make sure I go through and get everybody. Sorry if I missed you in the beginning. I want to try to get to the shows right away. That way, if there's new people and they just want to watch the shows, they can watch them, and then we can chat a little bit at the end. I'm not going to stick around too much tonight. Not that I don't love you guys, but I'm extremely tired. I've been going the last couple of days real hard, and so I done had a shower. I'm all relaxed. Did my news show. I'm gonna go ahead and try to get an hour or two sleep before I wake up. You know, I don't sleep good, but I do thank y'all for being here. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate it more than you know. Harry says hello and have a good one. You tell Harry I said hello to him too, and I hope he has a great one too. Bob Homestead, thank you for being here. But I love you all. I'm very humbled by your friendship. Y'all please make sure you smash that like button on the way out for me. I hope y'all all have a good night. I hope God blesses each and every one of you. If anybody needs prayer, let me know. I do want to say Zachary, my buddy Louie, y'all know Louie. He's wanted me to give a shout out to Zachary on my news channel tonight, so I wanted to do that before I ended. I told him I would. So hopefully Zachary's around if he's up this late. I'm not real sure if he made it, but maybe he can watch it tomorrow on the replay. So there you go, Louie. Let Zachary know we gave him this shout out. And UK Brahmi, thank you for being here too. I hope y'all all have a great night. What's that? What's that, Nevaeh? All right, I'm gonna have to check that out. Thank you for that. Eric Johnson, y'all have a great night. But anyway, God bless everyone. If you need anything, give me a call, 843-554-4336. Feel free to call me anytime. God bless everyone. Have a great day. I will see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. Newscast, News Blast.